big ads appeared in a number of US publications like the New York Times today, and in these ads they say the future of Ireland is in the hands of the people. It is time to agree on a date for the unity referendums. Let the people have their say. The ads are paid for by a number of groups, amongst them Friends of Sinn Féin. Matt Carthy is a Sinn Féin TD for Cavan Monaghan. Matt, you're welcome to the studio. Why is now the time to let the people have their say?
Well, I would argue we should have started and commenced this process long before now, because we don't want to make the same mistake as the Brexiteers. We don't want a referendum to happen and for people to vote in the absence of knowing precisely what it is that they're voting for. And that's why we've been calling for initiatives such as a Citizens' Assembly or a Rocktas all-party committee to actually set out the framework of what a united Ireland will look like, what the benefits will be, what the challenges will be that we'll need to overcome, what the transition phase will look like, and all of the practical questions that people will naturally have. But my starting point, as someone who is from a border community and has seen it firsthand, the devastating impact that partition has had on our country, is that a united Ireland has the potential to be a much better Ireland for everyone who shares each of our 32 counties. And when you believe that fundamentally, as I do, then as a political representative and I would argue as governments, you have an obligation to try and advance it.
But setting a date for a referendum, which is what the ads ultimately called for, an agreed upon date. I mean, does that not undermine what you're saying about let's have a citizens' assembly first?
No, because everything that we are talking about needing to happen needs to happen in the context of a referendum. So I think it would bring clarity and it would bring a bit of focus if we were to say that a referendum will take place on X date. And we've set out a time frame previously of in around 5 years would be sufficient time for us to have the types of conversations, put in place the plans that would be necessary in order for that clarity to be provided to voters when they go to vote north and south in respect of a border poll, as it's called, or a unity referendum. And it's my firm belief that if that work is done and if it's done correctly and if it's done in an inclusive way, then we can go to the polls in every confidence that we'll be successful in both jurisdictions. I think we're absolutely big enough across all political persuasions to be able to have a broad conversation in terms of the future direction, something that I believe, if advanced properly, will be in the best interests of generations to come. That is the reunification of our country. And I, for one, am quite excited about the conversation that is going to happen in the not too distant future.